A lighter note for you now, and today's Entre News segment takes us behind the scenes at the Avignon Theatre Festival. That's with our culture reporter, Olivia Salazar-Winspear, who joins me on the set. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
So you have been filming a series of specials there. You've been checking out performances. This is all happening in the southern city of Avignon. Now, this festival is really a landmark moment in the cultural calendar here in France. But for those who might not be so familiar with it, tell us a bit more about it.
Well, the Avignon Theatre Festival is in its 79th year, and it's a 3-week concentration of the performing arts, so dance, drama, debates, readings, all sorts. They managed to cram in hundreds of events into this very small town, and often in beautiful historical sites as well. That's just the official programme. Then there's the off, as it's called, the fringe, which I'll tell you about in just a moment. So the festival's been in the hands of Portuguese director Tiago Rodrigues for the last 3 years, and one of his objectives is to make theatre appeal to a wider audience, especially young people, because I think in the past this festival had a bit of an elitist image that it was trying to shake off. So now he's organised free events, participative events, where you have local people making the show as well. And they have a regional touring production every year, which goes to the little villages around Avignon for those who can't come to the city. He's also pushed to make this a more international event, not so French. And so what he did was invited a guest language from 2023 when he arrived. The first language was English. The second was Spanish last year. And this year he's invited Arabic-speaking artists to come and show work there. So that means there's work from Moroccan, Egyptian, Tunisian, Palestinian artists on stage. Here's more from Tiago Rodrigues on why Arabic was such an important choice.
Through language, any language in a festival like Avignon, we can connect with a plurality of world views and travel without leaving home. We can go on great voyages of discovery, take an interest in others. What's curious about the Arabic language is that we're offering this far-off destination to many people in audiences because Arabic is the second most widely spoken language in France after French. We're also asking them to go on a journey to their homes because a lot of our audience has links to the Arabic language because of their family backgrounds. And they're coming to the Avignon Festival, sometimes for the first time, because we've invited the Arabic language this year.
Right. If there are a lot of programs on in Arabic, I imagine not everyone who goes to the Avignon Festival speaks Arabic, so a lot must be subtitled or surtitled. Did you get a chance to see any of these programs in Arabic?
Yes, I did. One of those sort of hybrid productions, as you say. One really powerful performance that stood out for me was called When I Saw the Sea by Lebanese director Ali Shahrour. It features 3 women on stage using music, dance, storytelling to recount their experiences in the kafala system they have in Lebanon for migrant workers. It's something that has been compared to modern slavery. So this show shines a light on the domestic work that happens in the shadows, the injustices these women experience. These are their true stories. They're on stage talking about things they've actually lived through. It's extremely moving and they're very powerful performers. I actually got a chance to sit down with Ali and one of his actresses for a special interview, which you can see on the France 24 website on our Arts 24, our culture page. I also saw a very poetic dance performance from the Tunisian duo Selma and Soufiane Ouissi. That's called La Russa Quartet. And it's inspired by the tradition of pottery, I suppose I can say, creating pottery clay figurines that you find in the northwest of Tunisia, an ancestral tradition passed down from mother to daughter, so quite feminist in its performance and its content. A very novel idea also to make something movement-based about something so static as a sculpture. And I think a standout moment from this year's festival actually took place on Monday night in the Cour des Palais des Papes. That's the interior courtyard of perhaps the most prestigious medieval building in the centre of Avignon. This was an homage to arguably the greatest singer of the 20th century in Arabic, Kulthum, because it's been 50 years since the Egyptian diva died. So her songs were performed and reinterpreted by a whole host of stars. You can see them on the stage there. A real beautiful moment, I think, for anyone who was at the festival on Monday night.
All right. And now, of course, a theater festival is going to have a lot of classics, whether it's Molière or Shakespeare, but there's also a lot of contemporary theater that's inspired by current events.
Yeah, a lot of politically engaged theatre at Avignon. One show this week takes inspiration from a local case that shocked the world at the end of last year because Gisèle Pellicot actually testified in the court in Avignon against the 51 men, including her ex-husband, who were charged with raping her while she was drugged. Now, that case has been reinterpreted by Swiss director Milo Rau. He often deals with controversial or politically charged material. He's created dramatic experiences based on the genocide in Rwanda, the landless movements, workers for movement in Brazil. So he's no stranger to difficult subject matter, he's staging a night of readings that pay tribute to Gisèle Pellico's courage and bravery, and that's happening on Friday. It's actually free to attend. People apply for tickets, and they'll be distributed the night before.
All right, now, outside of France, there's another show taking place this week, which gives us a more important insight into the reality of Afghan women. Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, this show originated in a podcast that started in 2021 when the Taliban seized power in Kabul, and overnight women found themselves stripped of their rights, their voices silenced, as we've documented on this channel as well, of course. Now, at that time, Belgian journalist Caroline Gillet started a correspondence with two young women in Kabul using voice notes for them to tell her what their reality was like, what this new normal was like in Afghanistan. And that podcast, Inside Kabul, was broadcast critically acclaimed. It's become a multimedia experience now in Avignon, using animation, that you can see it there, audio and performance to recreate the inside of a house in Afghanistan. It's called One's Own Room. It's about putting Afghan women's voices on stage, allowing them to express themselves and also allowing us to hear them. It's been made with the help of Afghan artist. She's responsible for those beautiful images, Kubra Kademi. You can see her there. She now lives in exile in Europe. So that project premieres this evening. It looks to be extremely interesting, both in the form and the content. And it's also coming to Paris in November if you can't be in Avignon this evening.
All right, so there's the official program, the In, and then I think it's funny that the outside program is not called the Out, but called the Off. So tell us about the Off, the Fringe. How does that work? What do we see there?
One of the curious quirks of the French language. Now, the Fringe, the Off, is more than 1,700 companies are showing work, and it might be considered the secondary selection, but really you do get some established names touring new work. It's much easier to get a ticket for the Off. Often you can buy them last minute, thanks to word-of-mouth reviews. They go around ticketing for their shows, the companies. In 2023, they had a bumper year. They sold 2 million tickets in the Off, so it is established now. One really interesting show on this year is called L'Imposteur, or The Imposter. It's about Janice, a struggling actress who's trying out for a role which could mark a turning point in her career. And the play explores imposter syndrome, that little voice in all of our heads that sows seeds of doubt. And I think the many nuances of that central character, her hopes and fears, are played by Julie Zeno, whose amazing charisma sort of carries this one-woman show. The show is actually in English, subtitled in French, and it's on every night until the end of the festival, which for both the In and the Off is on the 26th of July. So that's, I think, a rising star that I'd urge you to check out.
It makes me want to hop a train and get down there, Olivia. Thank you so much for that. Olivia Salazar-Winspear with that look at the Avignon Festival, which is ongoing almost through July 26th. All right, thanks so much, Olivia. Next